Hello everyone, welcome to the Creative Writing Workshop. My name is Akofa Dawson and today we would be discussing fiction writing. Fiction is a form of literature that narrates or describes imaginary events, people and places. So some of the novels and short stories you write are fiction in the sense that the people are not necessarily real. They are just figments of the imaginations of the writers. And after today's workshop, you would be able to write fiction yourself. So the features of fiction we would be looking at today are title, plot, characters, setting, and theme. So we are starting with title. The title of your story gives the first statement of your story. When I look at your title, I should be able to know what exactly your story is about. So you must select your title carefully in the sense that it should relate to what I am about to read or what you are about to write. So how do you write a title? You can decide to coin your title around the theme you would be writing about. It could also be the name of your main character, and it's a good title. The next feature of fiction we are going to talk about is the plot. The plot is the sequence of events as they happen in your story. How does your story begin? What happens next? After that, what? How does your story end eventually? So these are what you should look at when writing your fiction. So there are 5 aspects of the plot: the introduction, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and then finally the denouement. The introduction, you tell us what happens in the story. That is where you introduce us to the story. And then the rising action is the build-up of tension in the story. With the climax, we find out how the conflict happens in the story. The falling action is after the conflict has happened, and then the denouement is the resolution of your story. Is there any forgiveness for anybody? Does anyone come to confess his or her crime? So that is what we get to know in your resolution. The next feature of fiction writing we would be looking at are characters. Characters are those who play roles in your story. They can be human beings or even animals. The choice is yours. We have the major and minor characters of a story. The major characters are the protagonist and the antagonist. The antagonist opposes the actions of the protagonist. So you realize that the conflict is between the protagonist and the antagonist. The next feature of fiction writing we would be talking about is the setting. The setting is the geographical and chronological backdrop of your story. In other words, when does your story happen and where? You have to situate it at a time and a place. For instance, if you set your story in 2020, you can make mention of your characters using mobile phones. However, if you set your story in pre-independence Ghana, mobile phones weren't really in existence by then, so it is out of place to use mobile phones in such a setting. The final feature we would be looking at in today's workshop is the theme. What issues do you want to write about in your story? You can decide to write about a moral issue or any other issue that is of relevance to the society. But whatever it is, it has to run through your story so that if anyone reads it, the person can easily pick out the issues you address in the story you write. We've come to the end of today's creative writing workshop. But before we go, we would like you to try your hands on this. In 500 words, write a short story that illustrates the saying, "Once bitten, twice shy." Send your submission to info@gbdc.gov.gh. The best entry wins assorted reading books, and we hope it was you. Thank you.